Little Golden Books. The New House in the Forest. The Jenks family wanted to build a new house. The question was, where should they build it? Mr. Jenks, the father of the family, wanted the house to be near the town where he worked. Mrs. Jenks, the mother of the family, wanted the house to be where it could have running water and electricity. Timmy and Judy Jenks, they were the children of the family, wanted the house to be where many animals lived. "I know just the spot," said Mr. Jenks. "Let's jump into our little old auto and drive out to see what you think of it." So Mr. and Mrs. Jenks and Timmy and Judy jumped into their little old auto. Off they drove to a big forest with a river winding through it. "This is near the town where I work," said Mr. Jenks. "Our house could have running water and electricity here," said Mrs. Jenks. "I bet bears and squirrels and owls and all sorts of animals live in the forest," said Timmy and Judy. The Jenks family liked the forest with the river. They all said, "We'll make a new home here." The animals in the forest heard them. "Chee, chee, chee," chattered a mother squirrel high in a tree. "They might like to live in a hole in a tree, like me. There's an empty hole near mine." "Grrr," growled a big brown bear. "The Jenks family might like to live in a cave like me. There's an empty cave near mine." "Too-hoo, too-hoo," called a big gray owl. "All this noise has woken me up. The Jenks family can have a hole in my tree if they will sleep all day. Goodbye. I'm going to sleep again." In the river swam the silvery fish. They opened their round fish mouths and bubbles bubbled out. They said, "We like our water home in the forest. The Jenks family might move in here with us." Timmy and Judy laughed, for they understood what the fish and the animals were saying. "You just wait and see the house we are going to build," they called back. "We will have to have many workers to help us build our new house," said Mr. Jenks. So the next day Mr. Jenks went off to the town and found 3 men to help him chop down the trees. "We must make an open place for the new house," said Mr. Jenks. Soon all the animals in the forest heard the men chop, chop, chopping. "Chee, chee, chee," scolded the mother squirrel. "Don't chop down my tree. Can't you see I have a family in this tree?" "Too-hoo, too-hoo," said the owl. "You woke me up again. Don't chop down my tree." "Grrr," growled the brown bear. "Don't chop down the tree where the wild bees keep their honey. I like to eat honey." Timmy and Judy understood what the animals said, so they asked their father and the men not to chop down the squirrel's tree, or the owl's tree, or the bear's honey tree. The men chopped down many trees, but they left those trees for the animals. They chopped off the branches of the fallen trees. Now the fallen trees were logs. Then Mr. Jenks and the 3 men brought some strong horses. The strong horses dragged the logs to the river. The men threw the logs into the river with a big splash. "Don't fill up our river with logs," bubbled the silvery fish. "The river is our home." "The logs won't spoil your river, little fish," said Timmy. "Your river will carry the logs down to the sawmill to be made into lumber for our new house. You can go on living in the river, little fish," said Judy. The sawmill sawed the logs into lumber. It sawed big, strong pieces, flat boards, and shingles. The lumber had to stand in piles for a while to be seasoned. Then a big truck brought the lumber back to the clearing in the forest. The men piled up the big stone pieces, the flat boards, and the shingles for the new house. "Before we build the house, we must dig a cellar," said Mr. Jenks. So the men helped Mr. Jenks dig a hole just the size the new house was to be. They rolled big stones from the forest into the hole. Then they built the cellar walls out of the stones. The big brown bear looked down into the cellar. "Grrr," growled the bear. "Is the Jenks family going to live in a hole?" Timmy and Judy laughed, for they knew what the cellar was for, and the bear didn't. Next, Mr. Jenks got 2 carpenters to help him build the new house. All the animals heard the bang, bang, banging as the carpenters pounded nails into the lumber. The carpenters nailed the strong pieces of lumber together and made a frame for the house. Then the carpenters nailed flat boards to the frame to make the floors and walls. They sawed up some boards to build the stairs to the attic. Then they nailed more boards to the frame for the roof, and over the roof they nailed shingles. "Chee-chee-chee," said the mother squirrel to her babies. "Come and see what a queer thing these men are building out of the trees." Timmy and Judy laughed because the squirrels had never seen a house before and didn't know what it was. Of course, the Jenks family wanted to have a fireplace for popping corn at Halloween and for hanging their stockings at Christmas, and they needed a chimney for the smoke from the fireplace. So they got the chimney mason to come to build it. First, he had to make the footing for the chimney to rest on. Next, he made a brick hearth. Then he was ready for the fire brick to line the fireplace. That was the hard part, to make it so that it would not smoke. Last of all, he used hollow tiles for the inside of the chimney and put stone on the outside from the ground to the top of the roof. Then Mr. Jenks got 2 plumbers to help him bring the water from the river to the new house. The plumbers dug a ditch from the house to a place where the river was higher than the house. In the ditch, they laid pipes that ran the pipes into the cellar. They cut holes in the ceiling of the cellar and ran the pipes up the walls inside the house. They ran some pipes to the kitchen and other pipes to the bathroom. The silvery fish saw the plumbers put the end of the pipe into the river. When the plumbers turned on the water in the kitchen, the fish heard the water in the river gurgle as it ran into the pipe. "Don't take the water from our river," said the fish, sending up many bubbles. "Little fish," said Judy, "we need water in our new house to wash in and to cook with, but there will be plenty of water left in the river for you." Then Mr. Jenks got the furnace men. The furnace men put a big furnace in the cellar. The furnace men ran big pipes from the furnace along the ceiling of the cellar. They cut holes in the ceiling right up into the rooms above. They fitted registers into the holes in the floors of the rooms above. Then they built a fire in the furnace. The heat went through the big pipes to the rooms above. Then Mr. Jenks had the electricians come. The electricians strung a long wire from the electricity poles on the road to the house. They ran the wire into the cellar of the house. Then they ran wires up the walls to every room in the house. At the ends of the wires, they screwed electric bulbs so every room could be light at night. Then Mr. Jenks got the plasterers to come and put plaster on the walls inside the house. The plasterers shook the white plaster out of bags and mixed it with water. Then the painters painted the outside of the house. They painted the plaster walls inside the house. They painted the attic room in a jolly green. "Chee-chee-chee," said the mother squirrel, sitting on the window, still looking in. "This room looks just like the trees. I like it." "We like it too," said Timmy and Judy. "It is our room." Now the new house in the forest was ready for the Jenks family, so the next day they moved. The moving van brought furniture, china, pots and pans, and a big box full of Timmy's and Judy's toys. Timmy and Judy helped put things in place. Now the Jenks family was really at home in their new house in the forest. Every afternoon after that, as soon as he was through working in town, Mr. Jenks jumped into his little auto and drove out to the new house. It was dark when he came home. The lights were on inside and the house was bright. "Hello, new house," said Mr. Jenks. "I like to see you all light and bright." "Grrr," growled the bear, peering out of his dark cave in the forest. "The Jenks family is queer to like light in their rooms." Every day after that, Mrs. Jenks cooked dinner in the new kitchen. She turned on the faucet and water from the river ran out. She turned on the stove and the electric wires in the stove got hot. "I'm happy as a cricket in our new house in the forest with running water and electricity," said Mrs. Jenks. "Chirp," chirped a happy cricket from a warm corner of the kitchen. "I like it here, too." Every evening after that, Timmy and Judy had supper in the kitchen. I'm glad our new house is in a forest where bees live, said Timmy, as he spread wild honey on his bread and handed the jar of honey to Judy. Buzz, said a little honeybee. These children seem to like my honey. Tomorrow I'll have to buzz off and find some flowers and make some more. Every night after that, Judy and Timmy went to bed in their attic room. In the dark of night, the big white owl flew like a white shadow through the forest. He could see in the dark. He looked in at the window and saw Judy and Timmy in their beds. "Too-hoo," he called. "These are queer children to sleep at night. That's when I'm awake." But Timmy and Judy did not hear the owl. They were sound asleep in their new house in the forest.